he must move forward together as one in a renewed spirit of fraternity and solidarity, cooperating generously for the common good.
History was made this day in Washington. A man who was elected to office by his peers and who was part of a lawmaking process spoke to fellow lawmakers and in doing so told no lies, threw out no insults, and sought only to bring actually people together. Imagine if this were the case every day in the hallowed halls of Congress. One of those in attendance as Pope Francis held America and the world's attention. Welcome back to the Hardline at Pennsylvania Republican Congressman Mike Kelly. Congressman, before I get into a lot of the meat of the questions here, your general reaction to hearing Pope Francis speak.
You know what? I think it was a very unifying speech. I think he really brought a lot of people together. And I said yesterday, there was a peacefulness, the calmness that descended on the city, and it's settled here. The scowls all turned to smiles, and we've had a very, very good couple of days where the Holy Father brought a message, I think, that brings a lot of people together. And even as we went through all the crowds yesterday, people smiling, people happy, not the usual confusion here and chaos that's on anytime we have people gather. It was quite a gathering, and it was a gathering of people of faith and people that believe that there's answers to all these things. And by following the way that the Lord laid out for us, there's answers for all of us. So.
All right, Congressman, I know that you are a man of faith. You are a Catholic, and of course, the Notre Dame lineage speaks to that as well. So let me then ask you right here. There are those people who say that this Pope was here on a liberal political mission. Some people have called him a menace on Twitter moments after he even spoke to Congress. Is he that, or is he just a holy man seeking peace?
It's a holy man speaking peace, but more importantly, in a world that's so divided, he's a man that says we need to come together. We need to respect each other's views. We need to hear what we all have to say. And I think the Pope's message certainly would be elevated among far above the voices of dissension. And people are saying, no, we need to be more divided. We can't come together as a people. These problems are too great. He did not say that. He said quite clearly that we need to work together, that we need to be courageous, that we need to face the problems that we have. Listen, as somebody in government, I listen to him as a Roman Catholic because that's what my faith is, but I also listen to his message to those who are sent to govern, sent to represent people, of how they must conduct themselves. I did not look at him as a menace. I do not think he's a menace. I don't think he was divisive. I think it was quite the contrary. And those people that maybe felt that way, I think they should have listened to what the Pope said and maybe looked into who this Pope is and looked into what his message is. It would be hard to say that this man is a menace, quite contrary to that.
Then let me get to that, if you will, then, from some of your own peers, if you will. Republican Representative Paul Gosar vowed to skip the address, and others, of course, we believe did follow. In your opinion, is the congressman then merely just insulting the Pope? How insulting is that to you, that a member of an elected body here decided not to hear the Holy Father speak today?
As far as my colleagues that decided not to come, their insults didn't bother. I'm sorry they didn't take time to listen. I think they would have really gained very much from the Pope's message today. And I understand people have different views. That's the beauty of who it is that we are. But we've always been a country that listens and then sifts through it and says, let's weigh these issues. Let's see at the end of the day what makes sense, and really don't let yourself be divided before the message even gets there. That's not who we are as a people. That's not America. My gosh, we're the great melting pot. And if we don't understand how we all got to where we are and the exceptionalism that we have, and most of it is based on a Judeo-Christian value system, this man brought a message that deserved to be heard and should have been heard. And to my colleagues that chose not to be here, that was their choice. I think they missed a wonderful opportunity.
But you must be insulted by them. Seriously, you're a man of faith. You must be insulted by their actions.
No, you know what? Listen, where I am in my life, I think that sometimes you have to look past what people say. If you're going to get insulted, then you shouldn't. You really can't go much further in your life. Listen, I don't agree with some of their views and some of the things that they put out with. To me, it was a great day. I think it would have been a great day for them. I think that sometimes we make decisions and we get too far down that road and we can't come back and say, maybe I should think about this and go and listen. So listen, Paul Gosar is a very good friend of mine, by the way. He's also a Catholic. His decision was his decision. I don't condemn him for it. I think he missed a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to hear from the Holy Father.
Would you then say, I got about 30, 40 seconds left, that if there's one thing we're going to take away from this, people will be hammering away at this Pope for being liberal, for talking about global warming, for talking about the abolishment of the death penalty. But in the end, he said, and I quote the Pope, "I'm convinced we can make a difference." Is it not fair to say that no matter where your religion is, Those are the words that you should take away from this.
And I'm going to be more in agreement with you. He also talked about life. He talked about the family. I think those are two issues that we all look at, and he was very clear on those issues. So I think we all gained today from the Holy Father's message and from the Holy Father's presence in our country. It brought a calmness to a city that I haven't seen this way. It's usually chaos and angst and anger. It was not that way, Ed. He brought us together today as a nation.
I guess you'd have to say, though, unfortunately, that the calmness that goes over the Beltway won't last long.
Well, I'm going to pray that it stays a little bit longer and that we can get through some of these issues. I love the dialogue here. It's the one time in my life I could be here with a whole life of actually having people born and watching people die and being encouraged by both events, knowing that we have so little time here. Don't waste it on hate. Don't waste it on trying to stay away from things. Listen to what's being said. Try to make the world a better place for you having been here. I think that's all our mission.
Well said, Congressman. Let's make that the bipartisan message. Congressman Mike Kelly, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ed. God bless now.